go.
Hi, I'm Bruce Moore, Chief Executive Housing 21.
And I'm Pam Mastrantonio. I'm the Managing Director of Retirement Living.
So Pam, you're leaving Housing 21.
I am leaving.
So you're going to be the Chief Executive of South Lakes Housing?
I am, absolutely, very exciting.
But you're leaving Housing 21 in very, very safe hands and going forward. So what have been your highlights at Housing 21 as the Managing Director for Retirement Living?
Oh, there's been so many, but obviously our Helping Hands service, absolutely fantastic. I've loved that, helping so many residents, over £3.5 million a year in additional benefits, so absolutely brilliant. The performance of retirement living is absolutely brilliant. And of course, events like the resident conferences, always a massive highlight for me. So it's been a brilliant 8 years, but I am leaving it in safe hands, so that's absolutely brilliant. What about the future of Housing 21 then?
So Housing 21's in good hands as well. I think we've just celebrated, obviously, last year our 60th anniversary, so 61 years this year. But I think the fundamentals are really sound. Our residents are the most important thing. They're the heart of our service. Our resident satisfaction is our key driver. So without that, we are nothing. So resident satisfaction, resident performance is got to be resident-centric. But to do that, we've invested a lot in our properties. The safety of our properties, but also the design, the makeovers, investing in kitchens and bathrooms, etc. on a cycle, which put us in a really strong position. EPCC is part of that process. But for me, it's not just about the buildings, it's also about the people. Our local housing managers and the closer operations managers and the ROMs and the heads have much better service, I think, in retirement living particularly, is really, really important. So we need to carry on being people-centric, mindful of affordability. There are pressures coming up in those, and mindful of the new technologies and demands. So investing in Wi-Fi in our schemes. There's a lot happening still, but you've set us on a very strong foundation. So hopefully, with residents' feedback, we will be able to take Housing 21 forward. Retirement living will be a great place for people to live, and we're in good hands. I believe.
Definitely, absolutely. So this is obviously for the residents' conference on tour.
Yeah.
So all that's left to say is have a fantastic time at your conference.
Yeah, and any feedback you can send to us, really greatly appreciated. So have a great conference.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Hello everybody. Earlier this year, we hosted a number of resident conferences around the country. At these conferences, we met hundreds of our residents and were able to share with them an overview of what we've been doing at Housing 21 over the last 12 months. Unfortunately, not everyone was able to travel, so we thought it'd be a great idea to put together some short videos that summarise what we talked about at those conferences. My name is Richard Wheeldon, and I'm the Head of Retirement Living for the west of the country. I've been with Housing 21 for 16 years, and it's my pleasure to take you through what we've called Conference on Tour. The first key update is the change to our management structure since January this year. The West now includes South Yorkshire and North Derbyshire, Cheshire and Lancashire, Merseyside, Staffordshire, the West Midlands, Gloucestershire, Oxfordshire and South Bucks. We also have a new team headed up by Kelly Smith, our new Regional Operations Manager. Kelly leads her new team of operations managers, all of whom you should have met and may well be watching this video with you now. Kelly's team includes Paul Kennedy for Merseyside, Alison Leppinwell for South Yorkshire and North Derbyshire, Kevin Turner for Cheshire and Lancashire, Yvonne Elliott for the West Midlands, Jackie Poole for Staffordshire, and Cressida Bateman-Thomas for Gloucestershire, Oxfordshire and South Bucks. Every year we carry out a resident satisfaction survey. Satisfaction levels across the housing industry fell during and after COVID, but at Housing 21 we're pleased to see a steady improvement each year. Retirement living now sits at 89%, and the West region is just a smidge behind at 88% overall satisfaction levels. You should see a chart on screen now. How well is your patch done? How well is your scheme done within the patch that you're located? We realise that quality and consistency is one of our biggest challenges this year, As you can see, we have 20 schemes with 95% satisfaction levels, of which 13 schemes scored 100%. We also have 11 schemes below 80%, so our approach is not a broad brush one, but a targeted one to identify those schemes with areas for improvement. To ensure that we see more about the quality and consistency at each scheme, we undertake what we call an annual housing quality standards inspection. These are a series of checks on the quality of services at your scheme, which are then rated from outstanding to inadequate. Do you know what your scheme scored? And if not, feel free to ask your local manager. Same with quality and consistency, we also introduced our people and property visits this year. These involved the local manager spending some quality time with each resident in their own home to check on their well-being, their support needs, the safety of the property, and any repairs that might need doing that might have been missed. The feedback from these visits has been really positive, and we'll continue to do them this year. During the year, we've used our resident satisfaction fund for a number of projects. We spend around a total of £250,000 across 44 different schemes. These projects included new scooter storage, improvements to our outdoor spaces, exercise equipment, gazebos, to name just a few. And we didn't just spend money on trying to improve satisfaction, we also recognised that the cost of living is high and some residents might need some extra help. Our Helping Hands Fund in the West received 262 applications for help, and we spent about £43,000 providing that help directly, as well as undertaking personal checks on welfare benefits to ensure that applicants were receiving as much financial support as they should be. Last year has been a year of growth within the West. We started to build, or we opened, 8 new schemes. These have been predominantly in the north of the region, and they're really well worth a look. They're really well appointed schemes. They very much feel like you're living in a luxury hotel. But don't worry if you don't live in a new scheme. It's not all about the new schemes. We've invested in our existing properties with makeovers to communal areas, which again, very, very much look hotel-esque, and fantastic upgrades to kitchens and bathrooms, really high quality products. And finally, this year was all about celebrations. It was Housing 21's 60th anniversary, and we held lots and lots of parties across the country that everyone seemed to enjoy thoroughly. We also held our In Bloom gardening competition, which gets residents making the most of the fantastic outdoor spaces in our schemes. So that's it. That was just a quick tour of what we took out to the main conferences. I'm hoping myself to get out to as many schemes as I possibly can this year, and hopefully get to meet as many of you as possible. Once again, thanks for watching, and thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Corrine Askaroff. I am a tenancy sustainment and arrears advisor for Housing 21, and I am responsible for the Helping Hands service and the Helping Hands hardship fund that we have here. Part of my role is about maximising income and making sure everyone is aware about what is available to them. And welfare benefits has lots and lots of myths. They have lots of myths around it that sometimes put off people from applying. So some of those myths that I just want to sort of crush right now is some people think that it is possible to claim more than one health benefit at one time. So for example, attendance allowance and personal independence payment. That is not possible. You can only ever claim one. So if you are already claiming one, you have to make sure you get advice before trying to claim another one, because you might end up losing both payments. So just to put that out there. We have heard lots of times where somebody has said they cannot claim pension credit because they have savings. That is not accurate. There is actually no savings threshold for pension credit. It is based on a person's income and what is called their personal allowance. It's very in depth, so I'm not going to explain it. But what I would say is, just because you have savings, please don't put off considering applying for pension credit, because it could be a real benefit to you. So speak to your scheme manager if you'd like to know more about that. We have people say they can't claim housing benefit because they have a private pension. Again, the same as pension credit, you can. It just depends on how much income you have. So, again, please make sure that you are looking for some advice and getting a benefit check around that. People saying that they don't claim attendance allowance because they don't have a carer coming in. That is not the case. Attendance allowance is awarded to help somebody remain living independently at home for as long as possible. So you do not need to have a carer coming into your home to be able to claim attendance allowance. So if you have a long-term health condition for more than 6 months that is enduring, then please go and consider making an application for that. And there's also been some confusion around council tax and housing benefit. A lot of people think that if they get housing benefit, they will automatically be awarded council tax reduction, and that is not the case. In most local authorities, you will have to apply for them separately, but you do need to check out what your local authority rules are. Something else to very quickly touch on is social tariffs. So another way of really saving some money could be finding out what social tariffs are available to you. So if somebody is on low income or has particular health conditions, they may be entitled to some financial support through social tariffs. And the best ones are usually through the water companies. They have lots and lots of financial support out there, and it's really pertinent at the moment because water bills are on the increase massively. So please have a look at your local, who your supplier is, and find out what tariffs they have available that might be able to support you. And broadband, if you have internet in your property, then you may be entitled to a social tariff, which does not affect the quality of your internet. It just affects the price and means that you will pay a lower amount. Energy providers do not have social tariffs, but they are obligated by Ofgem to tell you if you could save money by changing to a different tariff, and that will be written on your bill. So please make sure you're reviewing your bills. We do have a document available to you to give lots and lots of information along this line, and there's a picture there for you to see. If you'd like a copy of that document, please speak to your scheme manager, who will be able to provide one for you. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Antony Walker. I'm the head of retirement living for the Southwest. But a lot of my colleagues know of me as a bit of a sustainability geek. I'm very interested in it, very passionate about it. I live in a part of the country where we're a little concerned about rising waters. We have our issues with flooding. And I'm very conscious that I've got two very young children, and I want to make sure that we leave the planet in as good a condition as I found it in the first place. And when you see scary graphs on TV about rising temperatures and things, I want to make sure that I've done everything I can to try and make a difference. So us at home, for example, this isn't something I'm just pushing at work. We've installed a heat pump ourselves, convincing my wife in the process, solar panels, and I've even been trying to make some little videos for colleagues, just encourage them to get into electric vehicles when they're travelling out for their resident meetings and the likes. Housing 21, our motto is do no harm in this regard. So we want to make sure that Housing 21 doesn't have an adverse impact on the environment. At the same time, we're very conscious that we don't want to be pushing up resident bills either. So that is always in our mind when we're thinking through these different trials and pilots. Now, we are testing out heat pumps. You'll have seen of them in the media. They do work well. Ignore some of the FUD that you'll have seen out there. We've tested some air source heat pumps down in Cornwall. So we're seeing how they go. We've connected up actually to a heat network up in Gateshead, where they're using the heat from the old mines, the water up there, and they're pumping that through the district to provide heating. Fantastic bit of technology. We're testing out something called electric wallpaper, which involves infrared technology. And we've also tested some biomass as well, so feeding in wood pellets and burning them as a way of providing heating. Away from that, we're also looking at solar panels. I know lots of residents are very interested on that front. What we are looking at now is when we're replacing roofs, we're looking at whether we can install solar panels as part of that process. One of my schemes in the Southwest has had a huge solar array installed. And because they pay us for their individual electricity as well as their communal electric, they're seeing some really big savings on their bills, or will do certainly. We've also installed some solar tiles onto one of our new build schemes, which not just really effective, but aesthetically look brilliant as well. Finally, on electric vehicles, because I know some residents are interested and would like to get one for themselves. We know this is a difficult situation because residents might not want to get a vehicle because there's no charger on site. We're not sure about installing chargers because there's no electric vehicles. Well, on some sites, we are installing it now and we are testing it and piloting it out across the country. So we're seeing how that goes and we're trying to match those installations to demand. A final note on kind of your role and how you could perhaps help us. Reducing energy consumption, of course, is a huge thing. One of the big things we can do is where we have communal gas boiler sites, we are seeing some schemes make agreements to turn off the heating during the summer. So perhaps for a period from May until September or something like that. It's something that can be communally agreed. What we are seeing is quite significant energy savings on that. It is saving residents money. So it's a really good thing to look at. And if that's something you think your court would benefit from, do have a chat with your ops manager. Anyway, thank you for your time. Hope to see you at the conferences next year.